Have you ever stopped to ponder over the societal norms that we constantly adhere to? The unspoken rules that govern our lives, the invisible puppet strings that control our actions, and the silent pressures that mold our behaviors? Welcome to a world where every facet of society comes under scrutiny. A world that exists in the mind of one man, Steve Cutts. Steve Cutts, a renowned English artist and animator, uses his craft to scrutinize, satirize, and ultimately question our societal norms. His animations are a mirror, reflecting our society's obsessions, addictions, and the often unspoken realities of our modern world. Consider for a moment his masterpiece, Man. This animation, though simplistic in its design, conveys overwhelmingly potent indictment. It tells a tale of a single man, symbolic of our species, perpetrating mass destruction upon an erstwhile tranquil landscape. It captures the raw reality of humans' malevolent existence and its detrimental impact on the natural world. Cutts, through his art, underscores that the onus for climate change falls squarely on the individual, on every single one of us. This is just a critique on our consumer-driven society, but a stark reminder of our collective disregard for the environment. Man forces us to confront the guilt of our existence and consider the terrifying possibility that the last human standing might one day face retribution. It is indeed a Homo sapien-centric issue, not a universal one, hinting that aliens, as observers, might ultimately punish the final survivor for their legacy of climate devastation. Such is the profound essence of man, the haunting guilt of merely being. In the standout piece, Happiness, Steve Cutts paints a vivid picture of the unrelenting search for joy in our modern world. Instead of using the rat as a metaphor for the human race, Cutts portrays them literally, suggesting that any species subjected to similar conditions might behave in the same way. The animation shows these rats trapped in an incessant cycle of labor, consumption, and deceptive happiness promises. It even includes elements such as the promotion of alcohol on billboards. This depiction is not symbolic, but rather a literal demonstration of consumerism's impacts on another species. And let's not fail to mention the six-breasted rat. Cutts certainly knows how to sprinkle some allure into his work. In addition, his animation In the Fall provides a distinct viewpoint on how we handle life and death. It showcases a man plunging from a building, yet rather than succumbing to panic, he carries on with his everyday tasks. This sparks inquiries about our attitudes towards mortality, our obsession with ordinary routines, and our evasion of the inevitable. Furthermore, it urges us to ponder our individual choices. It reminds us that we don't have to confine ourselves to a cubicle for 40 years. The animation infers that it's not just the fault of society, but our own, for not taking action and exploring alternative paths in life. We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Anti-Orphan Crushing Machine Foundation. Our world is filled with absurdities, some more horrifying than others. But what if we tell you that there's a way to make a difference? For just the price of a single hamburger or a $1.17 donation, you can help keep an orphan safe. Yes, you heard it right. Each contribution you make ensures that one less orphan is tossed into this unimaginable machine. Now, you might be wondering, why does such a machine even exist? Who in their right mind would feed it? Those are valid questions, but perhaps the more pressing issue is not why it exists, but how we can stop it. So let's not get lost in the why, but focus on the how. Remember, this machine is hungry, but with your help, we can starve it. Donate today, because indifference can no longer be our status quo. Yet, it would be a grave mistake to label Steve Cutts' creations as mere critiques. They're far more potent and bleak. They're the brutal truths. Animations thrust us, the voluntary audience, into a sinking ship, an apt metaphor for our society. We've treated Mother Earth with the same respect we'd accord to a disposable, cheap date. However, these aren't just cold reflections of our world's shortcomings. Cutts' work serves up a harsh, unvarnished look into what we've become and forces us to question the chains of societal norms we're bound by. The silver lining? At least you opted to watch his animations by choice, without being force-fed by countless educators. In his animation, Are You Lost in the World Like Me? Cutts delves into the effect of technology on interpersonal relations. The narrative illustrates a world where individuals are engrossed in their screens, blind to the tangible world. Protagonist, a nice guy trademark, dreams about standing up to a bully, rescuing a woman from harassment. However, he's aware that in this gadget-obsessed society, his brave action wouldn't garner the recognition or status he envisions. Nevertheless, he stays optimistic, symbolized by a child untouched by technology. The animation encourages us to re-engage with the world, proposing that transformation is attainable, given we have the courage to initiate it. Bear in mind, opting for inceldom is a choice, and we at Redacted disclaim any responsibility for the existence of incels. Fast forward to 2024, and guess what? Pokemon Go is still a thing. Cuts' animation takes us into a dystopian future where players, glued to their devices, are hunting virtual creatures amidst a landfill. Our protagonist, a Pokemon Go enthusiast, frantically swipes his screen, oblivious to the stench and decay around him. The stark contrast between the vibrant virtual world on his screen and the desolate real world is disturbing. Cuts highlights the irony of seeking virtual Pokemon in a wasteland, underlining the absurdity of the situation. So next time you find yourself knee-deep in a landfill chasing a Pikachu, remember, it's not society, it's you. The scene is a wake-up call, challenging us to reassess our obsession with virtual reality. It's a stark commentary on how we're willingly trading our real-world experiences for digital illusions. Cuts asks us to question, is the game really worth it? In the next scene, we delve deeper into the smartphone obsession. Do you find yourself staring at the screen more often than you'd like to admit? Cuts' animation takes us on a journey through the life of an average smartphone user. The protagonist, just like us, is glued to his device. He walks in a straight line, oblivious to the world around him, right into an open sewer. He kicks dogs out of his way without a second thought, his gaze fixed on his device. The animation portrays a disturbing reality where empathy and awareness are replaced by screen time. Bullying, suicide, harassment, all happening in the real world, but we're too engrossed in our virtual lives to notice, let alone intervene. This scene is a chilling commentary on our desensitization to real-world issues. Cuts challenges us to question our actions and their implications. Has the smartphone turned us into mindless shells? Is this the dystopian reality we've chosen? As we move away from the screen-driven life, we enter the world of modern home ownership, like a game of Monopoly, where we yearn to own the board. But does the board own us? Cuts' animation begins with a vibrant cityscape, full of high-rise buildings, cafes, and bustling streets. The protagonist, a millennial, is seen browsing through a home-buying app on his smartphone, a stark contrast to the previous scene. The influence of technology, pop culture, and shifting lifestyle trends have created a new definition of home ownership for those born after 1990. We see the protagonist sipping on a goat's milk latte, a Funko Pop figure by his side. But are these trends shaping our dream of home ownership, or are they shaping us? The protagonist is seen struggling to fit into a cramped apartment filled with Stanley Cups, Pogs, and disco balls, while a swarm of bees buzz around a beeswax Wagyu steak on the table. 15-minute cities, virtual Pokemon collections, and the pursuit of the perfect Instagrammable home. Has the millennial dream shifted from owning a home to owning a lifestyle? The animation ends with the protagonist looking out of his window, the city's neon lights reflecting in his eyes. So if you were born after 1990 and dream of owning a home, ask yourself, is it about the money or is it about the lifestyle choices you make? The illusion of ownership is tricky, but remember, the board doesn't have to own you.